Hi, I'm Rob Bowman. Welcome to our Eagle for Windows Accounts Receivable demonstration video. This video provides you with the opportunity to preview some of the many exciting new capabilities included with this software. In this video, we'll discuss the status of our rollout of our Eagle for Windows software modules. I'll spend the majority of our time showing you our new accounts receivable software, including our new customer record window, as well as our greatly enhanced payment posting process. I'll talk about the simplicity of making the transition to this new software. And finally, I'll review the key benefits you can receive by implementing Eagle for Windows accounts receivable software. Let's talk now about Triad's rollout plan for each of our Eagle for Windows software modules. Back in April of 1998, we introduced our first two Eagle for Windows modules. One was our Network Access product that lets you operate our traditional Eagle character-based software within a Windows PC environment. The other was Business Advisor, a powerful business analysis tool allowing you to quickly gain access to vital business information with the click of a mouse. Both Network Access and Business Advisor are now installed in several hundred sites. In July of 1999, we made available our Eagle for Windows Point of Sale and also our Eagle for Windows Catalog software modules. In September of 1999, we introduced our new Eagle for Windows Accounts Receivable software, which we'll be looking at in just a moment. Our plans are to make available our new Eagle for Windows Bidding and Estimating module this coming winter. During the spring of 2000, we plan to roll out our Eagle for Windows Inventory modules. And finally, we'll offer other Windows-based modules to include our accounting modules such as Accounts Payable, General Ledger, and Payroll. Let's go ahead and take a look at our new Windows-based accounts receivable software. I'll be showing you the two main parts of the software. This includes the new payment posting window, which replaces the received on account or ROA function on the traditional Eagle system. We'll look at the fast and easy ways that you can now post payments for balance forward, revolving, and also open item accounts. But first, we'll start by looking at the new customer record window. This contains information similar to what is found within function MCR in the traditional Eagle system software that you may be using today. In the upper left, we find something that is standard to all Windows programs, including all of our Eagle for Windows modules. These are drop-down menus that can be easily accessed using the mouse to point at them. These menus are used to control certain aspects of our customer record window, and we'll be looking at some of those in just a moment. Below the Windows menu bar is the toolbar. The toolbar can be used in place of keyboard commands to perform common tasks relating to the customer record window. These tasks include displaying, adding, changing, and printing customer information. All of this can be done by simply pointing and clicking on the toolbar options displayed here, or by pressing the corresponding keyboard shortcut. Let's start by looking up a customer account, Don Dickinson. You do this using the Customer Lookup field, and there are several ways to look up the account. First, you can click on the arrow to see a scrollable list of your customer accounts. But if you have more than a handful of accounts, you're going to want to narrow down your search. You do this by moving your cursor to the empty Customer field and typing in a name. I'll type in the last few letters of Don's last name. As you can see, a list of matching names automatically appeared as I typed in the last few letters of his name. Once I see the name I'm looking for, I can click on it from the list. Let me clear this and show you another way to look up this account. Let's say that I know Don's phone number. By simply typing in the 7 digits of his phone number in the same customer field, you can see that our software has again automatically performed a search and found the account. I'll clear the window again. If I already know the account number, I can simply type that in here and the account is identified. I don't get the drop-down list of names because I've typed in an exact account number. And finally, if I know a document or transaction number, such as an invoice number for example, I can type that in, preceded by a period, and the software will automatically identify the account that is associated with that document. For those of you who are already using or have seen our Eagle for Windows Point of Sale module, you've probably already noticed that the customer lookup feature is identical, as we have made this consistent from module to module. I should also point out that this account has jobs tied to it, and you are automatically prompted about this. You see that the cursor has jumped to the job field and the words "has jobs" appears. From here I can select the master account, or any of the jobs assigned to the account. Now that I have identified the account, let's look at how our account information is organized. Rather than containing multiple screens of information, such as our traditional MCR Screen 1, Screen 2, and so on, information is neatly grouped here and is organized the way you use it. This is done using the 8 tabs you see here. These tabs organize the information into logical categories without the need to jump to multiple screens of information. Rather, you can simply point and click on any of these 8 tabs to access information about your customer accounts. We'll walk through these tabs one at a time so that you can see what information is kept under each one. We'll start with the Main tab, which is labeled as the first tab in the series. Here you will find the basic account information, but with some tools to make editing the information much faster and easier. First, instead of having to tab and enter multiple times to navigate to a particular field of information, I can just point my cursor where I want to go and click. In the classic Eagle MCR screen, it took 6 tabs and 3 down arrows for a total of 9 keystrokes to move to the PO required field. With the new Eagle for Windows software, I can accomplish this by simply pointing and clicking on the PO required option. Just that one step alone will save you time and eliminate the unneeded keystrokes. Another built-in tool that will save you time is the drop-down option choices, represented by the small boxes with the downward pointing arrows. Have you ever needed to change a terms code but couldn't remember what the codes meant and had to leave the customer record screen to look up the code meanings and then return to the customer record screen? You won't have to do this anymore. Clicking on the terms code field reveals not only the valid codes you have set up, but also their definitions. Changing a code is as easy as pointing to the correct one on the list. The same capability exists for information such as the tax code that is assigned to the account. Just point and click. A variety of fields on this screen use the same capability, letting you make easy changes without having to remember complicated codes and valid selections. Let's take a look at the information found within the Credit tab. I'll get there by simply clicking on the tab itself. We have placed the information you need when making credit decisions all within this tabbed section. On the left is various balance history information. In the middle are your charge options. To the right are the charge controls. And across the bottom are the account aging amounts. I'll use this screen to show you another built-in feature that makes the software so easy to use. Do you know what a declining credit limit is? If not, simply point your cursor over the phrase and read the help balloon that automatically appears. In this case, it says that the declining credit limit option automatically reduces the credit limit with each charged transaction. Again, we do this simply by pointing at the option. For example, here I'm pointing at the Global Credit Check option and can read the help balloon that appears. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Department tab. In this tab, we can view the period to date, year-to-date, and last year's sales and profit information by department for this account. In this grid area, we can not only view the analysis that is broken out by departments, which are listed on the column to the left, we can also manipulate the information to make it more useful for our particular needs. For example, if I take my cursor to any column heading, such as the year-to-date sales column, and double-click there, all information is now sequenced by year-to-date sales from low to high. If I want to see it sequenced from high to low, I simply double-click again and it's done. I can sequence this grid on any column by just double-clicking its column heading. Now, I often prefer to visualize information like this by seeing it in a graph. That's easy enough to do. If I want to see the year-to-date sales by department in the form of a graph, I just right-click the column heading and select the option that says Quick Graph of Year-to-Date Sales. There's a quick bar graph showing sales for each department for this customer account. If I want to see this in the form of a pie chart, I simply click on the pie chart icon at the top. Moving on to the fourth tab, we'll see Customer Sales Summary information. I'll click on that tab. This tab shows less detail as compared to the Departmental tab and is designed to provide a quick sales snapshot of the account. As you see, we can quickly view sales, cost, and gross profit totals. At the bottom, we can also see if they have been assessed any finance charges, the amount of merchandise they have returned, as well as the number of transactions that have been posted to the account. Clicking on the Payment tab displays for us payment history information. On the left, we can see the date when they made their last payment and the amount of that payment. Across the bottom is the aging information. Key to this screen is the payment history area. Information contained here will quickly show you if the account has paid on time in the past. You are looking at the number of times that the account has had no activity, the number of times that the account has had a balance that has been current, and the number of times that the account has been 1 to 30, 31 to 60, 61 to 90, and over 90 days past due. On the right, we can see the date when activity last occurred in each of these categories. I'm sure that you can see how this information allows you to quickly judge the quality of this account. Tab number 6 is labeled simply as Miscellaneous. Let's click on it and see what's there. On the left, we have information that certain stores or yards in particular markets may need to track, such as Social Security number, birth date, Canadian tax registration, and pesticide license information. On the right of the screen, we have our lumber bidding and estimating options. Should we price this customer's pick tickets? Does the account have open quotes? Not sure what a global credit check is? If I hold my cursor over it, I can see that this controls whether or not our point-of-sale credit check goes across all jobs. Do we want to print totals by type of lumber on estimates and invoices? Further down, we can select the default pricing unit of measure that will be used for this account. Finally, we can control if this account gets separate statements printed by job or if they prefer a consolidated statement. In the middle of this window are the account codes. Do you use account codes? Account codes have been a feature of the Triad Eagle system for a long time, but many customers have not known about account codes or cannot figure out how to use them. But that won't be the case anymore. Many Triad Eagle users want to be able to print reports that include only a certain group or groups of customers. Maybe customers who buy certain types of merchandise or customers within a certain geography. Coding customers in these unique ways is now easy to do by creating your own custom account codes. By clicking on Preferences and then Account Codes, we can set up our own custom account code scheme. Let's say that I simply want to modify one of the codes that I have already set up. That is a code that defines the type of account. Currently, I have options that I set up in the past for contractor, commercial, and consumer accounts. I want to, however, add the option to code government accounts. I can add a code of G and type in that G represents government accounts. I'll save my change and close this window. Now, when I click on Account Type, my custom codes appear, including the newly added Government Account option. You click on the Names tab to manage the list of people who are authorized to charge to this account. On the right, you can see that we can even import a digital picture of each person and attach it to a name on the list, so you know what these folks look like. If I want to add a name to the list, I just type it in and press the Add button. We're finally to the last tab, labeled as Notes. As you may have guessed, this screen contains our notes about the account. We can type in any needed free-flow notes, and because this is using Windows, we can select some portion of the text, copy it, and paste it below. I can now just modify the dates as to when the customer is telling me they will mail in their payment. In this window, we can not only enter messages to be seen only in our back office, I can also enter messages that are specified to show up at the point of sale when the customer account is entered by the clerk. As you've seen, we've grouped your customer account information into logical categories designed to match the way you use the information. I want to show you one more powerful feature found in this customer record window before we move on. Often you probably find that when you're looking up customer account information, you may have a need to view a list of all transactions associated with the account. In the past, Triad Eagle customers have had to leave the MCR customer record screen and jump to the DCA screen to see a list of transactions, and then later return to MCR. Well, we've made that whole process much easier. Let me show you. The Drill feature lets us drill down to transaction level detail information. I'm going to click on the drill icon found on the toolbar. This grid contains a detailed listing of transactions for this account. Let's say that you want the transaction sequenced by the type of transaction. Just as we did in the departmental sales grid earlier, you can double-click on a column heading to sequence the information. In this case, we've double-clicked on the transaction type column heading and have grouped the transactions by type. Let's say that we have this customer on the phone and they need more information about this credit return. By simply double-clicking on it, we can see the line-by-line detail for this credit. And if needed, we could even print it. This detail is available for those who have purchased Triad's Quick Recall feature that archives point-of-sale transactions. Let's review some of the capabilities and their benefits that we've looked at so far. We've designed the new Eagle for Windows accounts receivable software to be very easy and fast to use. Using a mouse, every field on the screen is just a click away. The toolbar is always available, eliminating complicated keystrokes. We've grouped the information for the way you use it, organizing it into 8 convenient tabs. And the drop-down code options with plain English descriptions of each code eliminate jumping to other functions to figure out what code to use. We have also added some powerful new features to help you quickly identify and better analyze your customer accounts. You can now look up customers with ease using a variety of search criteria. From right within the customer record window, you can drill down to the transaction level data and using Quick Recall, even drill down to see actual invoice item detail. As is the case with all of our Eagle for Windows modules, we give you the power to sequence and graph your grid data, such as we saw using the departmental sales and the transaction drill down grids. Finally, you have the ability to link actual pictures to your list of authorized to charge names. I want to show you now the exciting changes we've made to the payment posting process, making this task much less of a burden for you or your staff. I'm going to move from our customer record window, where we've been working, over to our payment posting window. I can do this by simply clicking on the option from my Windows application bar. Though this window performs a different task as compared to the customer account window in which we've been working, I want to point out some of the consistencies between the two windows. We have our drop-down menus that let us control certain aspects of this window, even including the ability to change colors or move certain elements of the window to different places. Below this is our toolbar, allowing us to point and click to perform certain functions. And finally, in the body of the window, you see that we have a couple of tabs. As you will see in just a moment, these tab choices will actually change when we call up an account, depending on whether the account is set up as balance forward, revolving, or open item. Before proceeding and posting some payments, I want to show you some options that you can set that will allow you to customize the payment posting process to best meet your needs. At the top menu bar, I'm going to click on Preferences and then Options. The Received on Account Options window opens. Let me show you some of the options you can change. If you're posting a batch of checks that actually came in the mail 3 days ago, you can change the default receipt date using the pop-up calendar. That way you don't have to type in the date every time you post a check. You can tell the software which payments you want to appear on your check register. Do you want only checks where you enter the bank ABA number to appear? Do you want all checks to appear? Or do you not want your ROA checks to appear in the check register at all? And when you call up an account, do you want to receive an automatic warning if the account is past due? If an account has jobs, do you want the software to default to showing all jobs? After you've posted a payment, do you want the cursor to automatically go back to the customer lookup field? Do you want to see automatic over credit limit warnings when you look up accounts? And do you want to be notified if the account is not allowed to charge? In the bottom half of the window, you have some options that apply specifically to open item accounts. When you view a list of invoices, do you want to select a cutoff date after which no invoices will appear? For customers with a terms discount, will you let them get the discount even if they pay late? Or do you want to establish a grace period and enter the number of days that you are willing to let them go past their due date and still receive their discount? For large customer accounts with lots of invoices, do you want to limit how many invoices display at one time? Finally, do you want the software to automatically check all invoices to be paid as the default? Once you've made your selections to customize the payment posting process to your needs, just click OK. Our ability to look up customers works exactly as it did in the customer record window, letting us look up accounts using their name, phone number, customer number, or using a document or transaction number. In this case, I'm going to look up the account using their name. Before posting a payment to this account, let me familiarize you with some of the information that is available. In the upper right, the software tells you that this is a balance forward account, meaning they pay by statement, not by invoice. It also tells you in this area what their total balance is and how much they owe right now. On the left, you have a snapshot of their credit information, including their credit limit and the amount of their last payment. In the middle is their aging by future, current, and past due categories. And on the right, you see some basic account information, such as their phone number and their payment terms. Having information here saves you time because you don't have to move to a different screen, like MCR, each time you need to see some basic account information while posting checks. One more thing before I go ahead and post a payment. By clicking on the Payments and Credits tab, you can view and sequence a list of all payments and credits that have already been posted to this account. Okay, let's post a payment to this account. To do this, you simply enter any of the needed information in the fields here. You might post the check number, the amount of the check, and an ABA number. To post the check, you just press Enter, and as indicated at the bottom of the screen, the payment is posted. Now that was a simple payment made to a balance forward account that had no jobs. I'm going to now call up another balance forward account, this time one with jobs. I'll enter their customer number, and you'll see that we are automatically prompted that they have jobs. I'll select that I want to see all jobs when posting this particular payment. You also have the option here to identify one particular job if this balance forward payment is for one specific job. Because I selected to show all jobs, we get a list of jobs in the grid. I'll now select the jobs that this payment is to be applied toward by clicking on these check boxes. I can now enter and post the payment information. We've posted a couple of payments to balance forward accounts. Now let's look at how the software will help us post payments to open item accounts, which are those accounts who typically pay by invoice rather than by statement. I'm going to call up another account, and you'll see that the software is prompting me that the account has jobs. I'll indicate that I want to view all jobs for this account. Our box here in the upper right of the screen is telling us that this is an open item account. Taking open item payments to an account with jobs in the past has been one of the most complex and sometimes frustrating tasks that a bookkeeper has to perform. A customer sends in a check to pay off a list of specific invoices that may be scattered among a series of different jobs. In the past, bookkeepers may have resorted to dividing the check into pieces and posting the pieces to each job separately, a real headache. But let me show you how easy our Eagle for Windows accounts receivable software has made this task. We've already identified the account, and so the software has listed all outstanding invoices in this grid. And because we selected the option to show all jobs, this list includes all outstanding invoices across all of their jobs. If you want to sequence this list, you can do that by double-clicking on, for example, the invoice date column. Or I could sequence the list by invoice balance amount. Sequencing is optional. I now start clicking on the invoices that I want to apply my check toward. As I check off invoices, this box shows me the total amount that I've selected. Once I've selected the proper invoices to pay, I enter my payment information and then post it. Wow, that's a lot easier to do than it's been in the past. Let's look at one more way that our new software can make managing open item accounts a lot easier. Sometimes payments or credits are posted to an open item account and they are not applied to specific invoices. Thus, they remain in the system as unapplied payments or credits. This often happens if a clerk at the front counter takes a payment and posts it through point of sale to an open item account. I'm alerted that the account that I've called up has unapplied payments or credits by this fourth tab that appears on the screen. By clicking on that tab, we now see a list of the unapplied documents. Applying these is easy. I just click on one of them, and we are automatically shown a list of outstanding invoices. I just pick the ones that I'm applying this payment toward. I then click on the Post icon or press the appropriate keyboard shortcut to complete this. That's it. We've applied the payment to the proper invoice. To wrap up our demonstration of the new Eagle for Windows Accounts Receivable software, I want to show you one last feature that will save you time. After a batch of checks has been posted in the office, most bookkeepers will run an adding machine tape on the checks to verify that the tape's total of the checks matches what was posted to the computer. Everything's fine if the totals match, but if they don't, the time-consuming task of tracking down the error begins. Our new built-in reconciliation feature, however, will eliminate this task altogether. Once you've posted a batch of checks, click on Procedures and then Payment Reconciliation. A list of all posted checks appears in the grid. Now, just as you would have done on the adding machine, you quickly enter in the total of each check using the keypad. As you enter in each amount, the software automatically seeks out a check in that amount and marks it off the list to the left. If you enter a check amount that does not match any check that was posted, however, you are automatically notified, and by entering the check number, you can compare what you posted earlier to the actual check in your hand. This can save an incredible amount of time by no longer having to search through the entire list of checks to find an error. Let's review some of the payment posting highlights and benefits that we've just seen. As with the customer record, the payment posting screen is made easy to navigate using the point and click of your mouse. You can set up posting options that let you customize the posting process to match your style. We have provided account lookups that are flexible and are consistent from module to module. From right within the payment posting window, you have easy access to key account information without the need to leave the screen and go to another to get the information. Posting open item payments can now be done via a few mouse clicks to select invoices. Payments can now be applied to invoices across multiple jobs within an account. Unapplied payments and credits are easier than ever to manage. And the new built-in check reconciliation process will quickly save you time trying to track down posting errors. I now want to cover with you the transition process for moving from the traditional Triad Eagle system over to this new Eagle for Windows software for those of you who are already using the Triad Eagle system today. Let's start by talking about the way that the Triad Eagle system works today. First, you have the actual Eagle CPU unit. This CPU contains all of the brains, if you will, of your system. It holds all of your data and also all of the programs that make the system function. Attached to this Eagle CPU are a series of terminals and also some printers. These terminals, however, are considered to be dumb terminals in that they cannot function in any way without the Eagle CPU. Again, everything runs from the Eagle CPU. What we have done with the introduction of Eagle for Windows, starting back in April of 1998, is to extend the Eagle by enabling a high-speed PC network to be connected to an existing Eagle CPU. This essentially places the Eagle CPU as a server on the PC network. Now this PC network can consist of a large series of PCs all networked together, or it could be only one or two PCs attached to the Eagle using a PC connection. You could even add an optional additional server to the network if, for example, you want to have a web server connected to your internal network of computers. In this new environment, all of your data continues to be stored on the Eagle server, but the actual Eagle for Windows PC programs that we looked at a few moments ago reside on each PC workstation. We have even built in the functionality to have older Triad terminals running the older applications operating side by side with PCs running the Eagle for Windows software. Here are some of the benefits of the approach that we are taking. First, we are building on top of the Triad Eagle's already robust features rather than starting from scratch and replacing the Eagle system. Eagle users can now mix older terminals with new Eagle for Windows PCs, meaning, for example, that you could install the Eagle for Windows Accounts Receivable programs in your office, but continue to run the traditional Triad Eagle point-of-sale applications if you wish. It does not have to be an all-or-nothing proposition. Your key data files remain on the very reliable Eagle Unix server, but the new Eagle for Windows interface makes it easy to learn and use. For existing Triad Eagle users, the transition is easy. Eagle continues to grow. You may upgrade to Eagle for Windows by software module as it makes sense in your business. You retain all of your Triad Eagle system's powerful features that you have become accustomed to, but the whole thing becomes easier to learn and to use. That wraps up this presentation. Thank you for taking time out to explore the many benefits that our new Eagle for Windows Accounts Receivable product can deliver for your business. To learn even more, take the next step by contacting Triad Direct by calling 800-538-8597. Thank you again for watching.